Chapter 5, Fuku, Vacation in the Ship. Dagagoan on. It was a sound that could not be regarded as a thing of this world. It was a sound that could cause a heart attack in a weak-hearted person. Sito and Kisu's hair was disturbed, they were sweating like a waterfall, and their outfits were dirty and torn in some places. They ran onto Mikagami's bridge with desperate expressions on their faces. Their subordinates had never seen them in such a state before. No one laughed at the situation because shortly behind them Jaikirin came in chasing them like a demon. "Wow," Misaki exclaimed. She had heard what was going on with her mother and came aboard snooping. "Big sister, I'm scared of Jaikirin." She clung to Funaho, who was also dismayed. Sito and Kisu unlocked the cage that was left on the bridge of the Mikagami and jumped into it. It was a close call as they closed the cage. Jaikirin, who came rushing in, collided with the cage, making a terrible sound, and finally stopped. She thrust her hand in between the bar. Minaho, relieved, gave a signal to the operators. The operators started working normally, as quietly as possible. The Kamadake arrived at a large freshwater lake on a planet designated as a relay point just about that time. Mia. Fuku was hugged by Neju. She was happy. She liked the place. In contrast, however, Amain and Kariko were staring at data from the ship and were consulting each other seriously about it. "So with Fuku on the ship, this is its lowest output value?" "Yes, but even with that we should be able to manage to travel just fine somehow. But if we get caught up in battle, we're defenseless," Kariko said before she noticed NB coming up to her with smoke coming out of it. "I don't know why she hurt me, I was just trying to determine her gender." "Shut up, you useless piece of junk," Amain said. "We're in this mess because of that creature, not because— I found a fun new subspace area. It would be a shame if we didn't use it. It's a beach area. Fuku-chan seems to like water." "Mia." Fuku meowed as if to agree with Neju. "Well then, I'm going. If you need me, just let me know." Seina bowed to Kariko and headed to the transfer gate with Neju. "A beach. I sense an opportunity." Amain smiled. "What's wrong? Let's get this finished quickly. We are going to take a little break afterwards." In the Kamadake's 4 seasonal spaces, different topographies were formed respectively. Spring was a place centered on flatland, summer was the place where the islands were dotted around the sea, and autumn was a gentle hill and plateau area, mountains centered on alpine highlands in winter. But in each space, the seasons were not fixed. Each one had a yearly cycle and seasonal changes. And although each zone was divided, each zone had continuity with each other, creating a looping space. With no artificial assistance, and the environment could be self-maintained. There was a food chain to suit. Of course, she was more worried about the fact that Seina was bleeding out than her outfit, and she didn't blame him for it, but after that she never came to show Seina anything ever again. Seina had regretted that he had lost the opportunity to ever tell his sister he liked something new she got ever again. "Yeah, it suits you," Seina kindly said that while carefully looking around. When he saw Neju's bright and cheerful expression, he forgot that feeling of regret. "Let's go." Neju ran towards the edge of the beach. Seina stood up holding Fuku with one hand to go with her. "Come on, brother." The sight seemed to Seina like the brother-sister relationship he could have had with his sister if he hadn't had such bad luck. Seina followed her to the edge of the beach and gently dropped Fuku. Neju gazed at Fuku, chasing after the waves. Frequently asked questions. "Here it is." "But this ship is not mass-produced, so how can it be frequently asked?" "Oh, there. I knew it." Neju raised a proud smile. There were only a few lines on Fuku. "Please don't eat it, you don't have to feed it, it doesn't have to breathe, and it should be fine if you expose it to nuclear radiation under normal conditions. And if it's put in 0-degree temperatures or on the surface of the sun, well, it is a weapon. So I think, well, what do you think?" "What should I think?" "In other words, it shouldn't matter if you get it a little roughed up, it's a weapon, isn't it?" "That's a terribly odd explanation, isn't it?" "Well, Washu is a famous person partially, but she was also a terribly weird person. I've heard things from people at the academy, but for now, if Fuku is having fun, she should be fine." "Naya and Mia." A fish launched at the beach. Fuku ran to bat at it when. "Seina, over here." "What?" Amain. Suddenly, Amain's Neju, who understood Amain's intention, sent a glare at her. However, she then immediately resumed smiling. "Oh, hello, sisters. Shouldn't you be busy with work?" she said as brightly as possible, while pretending to be an innocent child. For a moment she had thoughts of calling them old ladies, but it didn't fit with them dressed like that. "Don't worry, everything is going well, princess," Amain said with a satisfied smile as she nudged Kariko. Amain. Look, you're already here, Kariko. Why don't you indulge yourself?" "That's right, Kariko-san," Irma said, taking Kariko by the arm to keep her from hiding herself. Both of the girls got up to hold her arms, and she was exposed in front of Sana. At that time, Kariko noticed something to distract Sana. "Oh, Sana-chan, where is Fuku-chan?" Sana looked where Fuku was supposed to be. About 2 hours later, Sana and Neji made a tower as tall as Sana by moistening the sand with seawater. Fuku seemed to enjoy digging holes in it, and there were holes here and there. It finally collapsed, but they kept rebuilding it. Of course, the building, which was originally complicated, had collapsed multiple times already and was gradually simplified into a simple mountain. Amain and the others put up some big umbrellas in the immediate vicinity of them and lazily rested in the shade. Amain in particular occasionally turned over, especially whenever Sana looked that way. She would sit and move to emphasize her "Thank you, sister." Neju took a tropical drink from Kariko and handed it to Sana. "Damn, that almost worked." Irma nudged Kariko. "Hee, don't think it's over just yet." Amain laughed. "Fuku, I have something for you." Amain yelled. She raised up a carrot. "Maya? Mia? Fuku-chan." Fuku jumped out of Neju's arms and went to Amain and began to sniff the carrot. Suddenly, Fuku took a bite. Fuku's expression brightened and she began chewing it. Mia." Amain gave her another carrot and laid out some milk for her. "Just as I thought. She loves carrots." "How cute." Everyone forgot about the fight and watched Fuku eat happily. Fuku got full and took a nap. "Neju, we still have time to play. What do you want to do? So, what do you want to talk about?" After confirming that Sana had disappeared, Kariko turned towards Neju. "Let's clean up this place first, older sisters." Neju pointed at the mess on the beach. Sana passed through an air shower room that was built like a corridor that was covered with pure white walls on all sides. He came out of it into a multi-purpose dressing room, which had he used earlier to change into a swimsuit. Why did that really get rid of all the sand? Sana looked at Fuku's fur. The fine sand that had been stuck in it was all gone. He put Fuku on the sofa, took his normal clothes out of a locker, and went into the nearest changing booth and came out quickly after changing clothes. "Master, I am so bored." When Sana tried to approach Fuku, NB came at him shouting loudly as it suddenly jumped out of a transfer gate. Sana grabbed NB and quickly jumped into the locker because there was soundproofing in there. "Not so loud. Fuku will wake up." "Oh, is Fuku sleeping? I'm sorry. Aren't you supposed to be on the bridge?" Although he was serious, Sana remained calm. Kariko and the others finished tidying up and passed through the air shower passage. They entered the dressing room with Neju and started to take off their bathing suits. "May I help you?" Kariko noticed that Neju, who took off her bathing suit, was struggling to remove her hair ribbon. "Yes, please." Kariko stood behind Neju and took off her hair ribbon. "How did you even get this on?" "There was a machine to do it." "Is that so?" Kariko made a face for a moment. If she had a machine, there was no reason she had to be doing this. She soon found out Neju's real intention. "Is that pattern?" In the position hidden by Neju's hair was the same pattern of the Melmoss emblem drawn on official documents issued by the Shrine Maiden. "You were aware of my name from the beginning, but you don't know Sito's intentions or if I was genuine or a fake. Is it real?" "I've felt better. But your hair is such a beautiful jet black, so I guess that makes up for it." Neju ran her hands through Kariko's hair as if putting her hand through a stream, then she stood up and got closer to Amain. I can't move my face either." Neju put her hand on Amain's head. "To think someone with such a beautiful appearance would dare to oppose me. And you." Neju crouched in front of Amain. "My lord, how plump. And on such a nice figure too." Neju began rubbing Amain's breasts with both hands as if kneading bread dough. Neiju's face at this time had no majestic grace to it, but was a rather stupid-looking expression. Hey, my chest is not dough. Neju violently took her hands off and then went to Irma. That's some really beautiful white hair. It's as white as snow. Oh, thank you. I bet such fur would feel nice covering me as a coat. Please, forgive me. Is that how you reign as a shrine maiden? Reign? I'm only a puppet, used by the people in power who make all the decisions. With my age fixed, it's easy. Not only is it to protect my virginity, but it's used to protect them from having my abilities develop. Is that why I've heard that Neju has never left Melmoss? The reason why they sent her must have been to see about Seina's ability. The only reason they would send her here is to make sure his power won't interfere with their rule. Kiriko said upon pondering why Neju would have been sent to Jurai. If Neju was a puppet, the only reason for her being there would be other people's intentions, or due to Sito's behind-the-scenes interference. So what did you find out about Seina? No, the captain's ability. Seina's ability has already proven to be an abnormally biased probability. However, calling upon Neju meant that there could be something more to it. They wanted to see if his ability was like mine. If his probability bias can be consciously controlled or not, it's the difference between a natural disaster and terrorism. So that's it. They want to see if his ability is being controlled by— No. Jaikirin quickly heel-turned and headed for the transfer gate. Jaikirin, where are you going? Karen asked. Miss Sito, I'm borrowing your room. Jaikirin disappeared into the transfer gate. Jaikirin. She went to access NB. My room has a direct line. Hakurin, Swearin, let's go after her. They bowed to Sito and followed Jaikirin. Phew, that was scary. Sito and Kisu wiped off the sweat on their face. Well, that's enough for today. Kisu stood up like an old man and then steadily walked towards the transfer gate. Good job today. I'm really tired. Kisu replied to Sito and then disappeared into the transfer gate. Sito crawled over to her chair-shaped throne and pulled herself up into it exhausted. You guys sold me out. What else could we have done? What? You couldn't have— Well, the kitchen has many dangerous things in it. Amain and Irma, who were sitting at the counter helping Kiriko, smiled wryly. Mia. Fuku wanted a closer look. She flapped her paws to try to break loose. Hey, Fuku. Calm down. Big brother, I think it's hard for her to see what's going on at that angle. Oh, I see. Like she said, at the current position Fuku couldn't see anything but Kiriko's hand. Seina raised Fuku up. Fuku suddenly became quiet and swung her tail happily. Neju noticed something. Big brother, please lend me Fuku-chan. She took Fuku from Seina and put Fuku on her head. Nah, Neju-chan. This is much better, isn't it? The top of Neju's head was almost the same as the position Seina had previously lifted Fuku. But if you put her on your head— Seina tried to warn her that Fuku could fall off, but the appearance of Sasami overlapped the appearance of Neju in his mind, and he stood silent. Sasami does that too, come to think of it. Seina— Mia. Fuku, who realized that her seat was next to Seina's, seemed happy and she shook her tail. Good, Fuku. Here's your dinner. In front of Fuku, who was being stroked by Seina, Kiriko arranged a rectangular plastic dish containing various dishes in a row like the keys on a piano. It was luxurious and not at all inferior to the dishes arranged on the table. Kiriko thought that it was better for Fuku, who was just born, not to eat strongly stimulating or spiced items, but the others were eating a variety of dishes. Mia. As expected by Kiriko, Fuku was excited about the dishes arranged in front of herself and looked to Seina to talk about it. Fuku-chan, I know it looks good, but please wait till everyone's ready. Neju said. It's a bit late for that. Big brother, don't worry, leave Fuku-chan to me. Thank you. Seina went to the corner of the living room accompanied with NB and put up a secret wall. Well, would you like me to go? Kiriko asked as she put a blanket over Fuku. Kiriko, you're from the same town as Seina, right? Maybe today's food was from there too. Yes. Did it not suit your palate? It was a bit odd. But no, it was pretty delicious. You are a good cook. Thank you. So, did you make it specifically for Big Brother? Yes, I thought it would help keep him from getting mentally fatigued. Oh, Are you feeling mentally fatigued? I feel like I can understand the amount of pressure he has been under lately. When I first saw a detailed report on Sena, I felt a very dangerous impression. When I met Sena, he was 3 years old and he had already given up on his future because of his bad luck. He was only 3. But going into space opened the way for him to have a future? Yes, and for him to retire would mean he would lose that future. There's nothing else he can do with his bad luck. That sounds a little selfish. Well, that's because it is. I see, so that's why everyone is riding Sena ragged. Neji wryly smiled at Fuku. The Kamedake was obviously just one of the tools for others to use Sena. So what will happen if they run him ragged and can't keep a hold of him? Sena's desire when he was on the planet was to go into space where he could go anywhere he wanted, so if he could go anywhere he wanted, he would probably try to leave this galaxy. It's no wonder why they might want to keep the reins on him. In the current Galactic Federation, exploring outside of the galaxy was impossible. Of course, even in the galaxy, there were many places that had not yet been explored. The Galactic Federation and space pirate territory and the planets in the Renzo. Soon Irma noticed why Amain was embarrassed. She was thinking about how she would come with him. For both Ryoko Balta and Irma, with Sena was the only place she wanted to be. I want to do whatever Sena does. But of course not unless he has the experience to pull it off safely. Irma looked at Amain. I am also interested in exploring outside the galaxy, she said. Oh, then how about you, Kuriko? Kuriko's reaction meant she was obviously aware of what Amain and Irma's words had meant. But still there was a big conflict in her. I still think it is premature to make that conclusion. Both physically and mentally he isn't ready. No, more important than that is that he isn't experienced enough yet, but other than that I want to go with him if he did that. Haha, I know we want to protect him, but I'm sure you'd rest easier knowing he was out of reach of your mother. Neji said, smiling, obviously knowing what happened with Sena and Kisu. Neji-sama. Kuriko shouted. Amain and Irma backed up a bit. Either way, it's intentional that Ms. Hakuran's crew was removed from this mission. You two should go help Kuriko. I'll make sure Sena gets some tea when he is done studying. Okay, then. Thank you for your help. Irma and Amain headed for the entrance after bowing to Neju. I wonder how much longer he is going to be in there. Neju muttered once they were gone. Then she heard something. Maya. Fuku-chan. Mia-on. What's wrong, Fuku-chan? Fuku-chan wanted to see Sena. She ran into the secret wall and was repelled by the field. Mia. She tried again and again. Fuku-chan. Stop. Neju caught Fuku and lifted her up in the air to get her to stop. He's fine. He is just working on his schoolwork. Don't disturb him. Neju moved a small footstool in front of the secret wall so Fuku could sit and watch it while they waited. Here, now you can see him as soon as he finishes. Mia. Neju sat back. Neju, who was immersed in pleasant memories, was brought back to reality with Fuku's delighted meows. Neju looked reflexively towards Fuku and immediately understood the reason for Fuku's happiness. Mia. Sena had dropped the wall and was petting Fuku. Hey, big brother, would you like some tea? Neju smiled wryly. Oh, so that's why she was so eager to see me. I'm sorry, Fuku. Sena stroked Fuku's head. Fuku chewed on the hem of Sena's t-shirt. Envy, is this really necessary for me to feed her milk like this? The manual says she doesn't need to eat, and she definitely doesn't need breast milk. But I figure if you do this it might replicate the process of breastfeeding and help you two bond. I guess that's a good thing. Fuku, have you calmed down? Mia. Well then, let's take a bath and go to bed. Okay. Fuku, why Envy keeps fighting with Fuku-chan? Actually, I have wondered that. It's a very simple, Fuku-chan seems to know who controls Envy. By any chance? Yes, whenever Arisama is in control she gets violent, but I'm sure she's just trying to protect you. I guess that makes sense. Thank you for telling me. I wanted to inform you as soon as possible. By the way, Fuku recognizes me too. There were only a few people other than Eri who knew she was an NB. Kuriko knew there was someone in it, but not that it was Kirchi. How are things with your father? Eri says he is buried in troubles. The troubles were the broken contracts and legal problems that occurred because of Kerchi's disappearance. Naturally, they fell on her father, who was her creator, but those problems were being cleared up by Eri as best as she could. But my father— So Fuku knows I'm in here? No doubt about it. Mia. The shaking became stronger. Fuku seemed like she wanted to join him in here. Can we let Fuku in here? Eri has ownership rights, so I can't do that. At least not right away. I see. Can you wake me up so I can console her? How much longer do you want to sleep? About 3 more hours. Okay, I'll wake you up. And when I go to sleep again, will you get me up in 3 hours? Whatever you like, just remember to adjust the acceleration space. The conscious link with Kerchi, although it didn't cause physical fatigue, did create a slight mental fatigue. It wasn't an issue when living a normal life, but during a mission it could lead to a decline in judgment. For that reason, it would be necessary for her to let him sleep normally for the rest of the night. Thank you. Both Kerchi and Fuku were artificial intelligences. Between the two of them, they felt something like a mysterious empathy for each other. In addition, Kerchi had felt similar feelings towards Mickey. Maya. Fuku ran around and had fun. Are you having fun? Mia. Kerchi enjoyed watching Fuku play, but suddenly, Kerchi changed back into NB. Mia? Fuku noticed someone was approaching. Fuku-chan, NB. What are you two doing out here? Kariko cried out, worried. NB, what happened? Fuku couldn't sleep, so I took her for a walk. I see. Kariko gently stroked Fuku's head. Hey Kariko, catch. Suddenly NB threw Fuku towards Kariko, a little violently. NB. Go run off and see Master you for ball, I'm busy talking. Migyet. Fuku kicked NB into the air with a splendid triangular— What? Why? Everyone who was supposed to be approved to be an NB has already been approved. Mikami handed it to Eri and turned away from her. Steam practically blew out of Eri's ears as she read it. So that little furry bastard knows when I'm inside NB and wants me to let her come whenever Kerchi needs to talk to Sana. Why should I? She has ruined all my fun lately. I have half a mind to say no. I think she just wants to protect Sana. Ho ho ho. What the heck good is that little animal going to do for him in there? I think you're just mad at her for who she was. Fuku's astral core was made with Widow's astral. That is over already. That girl has another personality. But, I envy her. She got born back into such a cushy and comfy position. It's not fair.